how to do finishing for lace top. This top comes in two different lengths, and in this example we're going to be using the cropped version. So we will go over side seaming and neckline. Arrange your front and back panels, and we will start seaming one of the sides, and we'll be using a contrasting color yarn so it's easier to see the stitches. So I'm not going to be using the long tail that I left to be a little bit longer for seaming the side. This is for demonstration only. We're going to use a contrasting color. So connect the panels first, and we are using a large tapestry needle here. So connect the panels. And now we are going to seam them together. So insert the tapestry needle on the opposite panel from where your yarn is. So we're going to go through the back panel, in and out like so. And then do the same thing on the front panel. So you're kind of going around those little knobs that go along the side of each panel. And adjust. Make sure it's not too loose, not too tight. And then we are going back to the back panel. And you're inserting the needle through the same hole where the yarn is coming from. But you're doing exactly the same thing. You're going in and out around that knob. Okay, we're done with the front. We're going back to the opposite panel, so the front panel, and doing same thing. And adjust the yarn. So I like to adjust the yarn after I've inserted the needle through both the front and the back. Okay, and then you just keep going back and forth. So let's see more of a close-up. So insert the needle. Now insert the needle on the opposite panel. Pull the yarn and adjust. Adjust your tension. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. See, everything looks nice, clean, even. And you keep going back and forth. So insert the needle through the back panel. And now go back to the front and do same thing. And pull the yarn and adjust. Again, let's find that spot where you're going to insert the needle. So insert the needle around the knob and do the same thing on the opposite panel and adjust. And you keep repeating this all the way up, and just always keep checking to see what it looks like on the inside. If you have the yarn hanging, it means you didn't pull it enough. So you should check after every couple stitches, especially if you've never done this before. And then you just keep seaming all the way up. So for this style, you will seam until the point where the armhole shaping begins. But if you like your armhole openings to be smaller, you can seam a little bit more. It's up to you. What we always recommend is that you seam approximately to the point where you would like to stop, and then when the garment is completely done, that's when you do your final finishing. So never cut the yarn until you try on the garment in case you need to make some adjustments. So maybe you want the arm openings to be bigger or smaller. This way you can still do some adjustments before everything is final. So you see here, this is where the arm shaping begins. So we're going to stop here. But if you want to make your arm opening smaller, you can definitely keep going some more. And this is what the seam looks like on the inside. If you do it all in one color, you will not see anything at all. And we're now going to seam the shoulder. So shoulder seam is going to be done a little bit differently. But again, we're not going to use the yarn that is meant to seam the actual garment. We're going to use a contrasting color just for this video so you can see the stitches better. First, we are going to connect the panels. Once the panels are connected, we're going to start seaming. You see those kind of V's going along the edge? And you see a very similar pattern on the other panel too. So you're going to match them up on both panels, and we're going to use the outer edge. So the loops on the outer edge for both panels. So you're going to find that first one. See those loops, outer loops? So you'll find the first one on the front panel. So not that one, this one. And then you'll match it up with the loop on the back. And then you connect them, you adjust, don't pull too tight, don't pull too loose, and we're still staying on the same panel, and then we're connecting. Okay, so again, we're staying on the same side and going back. We're in the back, we're staying in the back still, and now we're going in the front. You're just matching up those outer loops and connecting, and you're connecting the panels through those matching loops using the large tapestry needle, and just keep going along all the way across. We're almost done here, seaming one shoulder. And don't cut the yarn. You can weave in all the tails later. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. So everything looks nice and clean and even, and you almost don't see the contrasting color. And you repeat for the other side. So you seam both sides in exactly the same way. So now we're finished. We have side seams done and shoulder seams, and the only thing left is the neckline. So you see how I did not cut any of the tails in case we have to adjust the armholes. So turn it upside down and we will start picking up stitches. Make sure to always go in clockwise direction. Again, this demonstration will be done in contrasting color yarn so that you can see better what is done here. We will be picking up knitwise, so all the way around, and you just want your stitches to be evenly spaced out. So refer to your pattern for specific number of stitches to pick up. Insert the needle, yarn over, and pull it through. So here we're just going to pick up through like every strand of yarn that you see. This is the back panel of the top. So you're basically going through every stitch that you see, you insert the needle and you pick it up. And just make sure to keep counting as you go along. So you should have about maybe 20 stitches or so um, when you're picking up just off of that the back panel. That number might be a little bit different depending on which size you're making. So it's a little bit less than half of the total. For the front panel you will have more stitches. So just keep going and keep counting. And let's see what we have when we're done picking up off of the back panel. Okay, so this is what it should look like, and then you just keep going around. So count your stitches. And keep picking up in the same direction. So here for the front, because of the pattern, these little loops are going to look a little bit different, but that's okay. So whenever you see a strand, insert the needle and yarn over. Another thing you can do, you can just kind of, you can put some stitch markers if you want to do it in sections. You just want to make sure that you have enough space for the total number of stitches. So just kind of go around and maybe approximate. But if you keep counting, you will always know. Let's say you think you're about halfway through, then you should have picked up about half from the total number of stitches. If you didn't get it right the first time, you can always take it out and redo your pickup. So just keep turning, and keep going. So just keep going all the way around and counting. So count the stitches. You should have a little bit more than half at this point. So now we're at about kind of that middle section of the front panel. So see, I'm approximating, I'm counting how many do I think I can fit in there. And keep picking up, keep turning your project, and just keep going to the end until you're ready to connect that first round. And we're almost at the end here. So if you're only off by a couple stitches, you can still make adjustments. Like when you're picking up, you can skip over a stitch or two, um, or you can pick up a couple extra stitches. Just make sure they're evenly spaced out and your total number of stitches matches the pattern. We're now ready to connect the round, so use a stitch marker to mark your rounds. And the neckline is done using a 1x1 rib stitch. So 1 knit, 1 purl. And you keep repeating this pattern to the end of the round and then do a few rounds. Check back to see what your pattern says for the total number of rounds and then cast off. This lace top is available in 2 lengths, the cropped version and regular version, and also it's available as a tunic. You can get it as a digital pattern or as a DIY kit. Yarn used for this project is Loopy Mango Summer Yarn, 100% bulky weight cotton. You can find these patterns and all materials on loopymango.com. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we have a lot more video tutorials for you on Loopy Mango YouTube channel.